How's it going? Thralls of Metal here again, and we're doing an album review. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I am Jammin John.
He is. We checked. Today we're going to review Darkthrone's latest release, Old Star. This came out on Peaceful Records on the 31st of May. This one, in their little promos, they said they were bringing back the riff. Now, this band has gone through a lot of interesting style changes over the course of their existence. They've been around since 1987, started off as a death metal band, then moved on to a very well-known black metal band, and then later on in their career started throwing in bits of punk and bits of classic heavy metal, like traditional metal. And, well, it's kind of hard to say where they're at, but they're still Darkthrone, and they kind of just do whatever the fuck they want. So, they did. Right away, you kind of get that sense. Opening track feels a little bit more traditional for them. It's very tremolo, strummy.
Yeah. Actually, it reminded me a lot of, like, Motorhead.
Yeah, no, I definitely get the whole, the Motorhead thing. I think I wrote that too. The black and roll kind of feel,
Yeah.
which is like bands like Midnight or Devils, which is from our home state. That kind of rock and roll meets black metal. Opening track kind of dragged a little bit, though. It really didn't set the pace, because honestly the pace of this album is more mid-tempo, just heavy riffing.
Yep.
And very much in like the style of like older bands like Accept or Scorpions.
I was gonna say, I know we mentioned the Scorpions.
Yeah. It's an interesting turn. Like the first track, it was all right. It's choir. I Muffle Your Inner Choir, which I do love the song title. That's pretty banging.
Yep.
But then we move into the track that they premiered early for everyone, and honestly, that one got my got my attention. Hardship of the Scots. I really dig this song.
Yep, the riffing in that song is catchy.
It's catchy. It sticks in your head. That has that fierce old school Scorpions feel, but it also feels like sort of like Enslaved when they were sort of transitioning into their proggier stuff. It has a good sludgy guitar tone to it. The drum beat is just a straightforward sort of a stomp, a good mid-tempo stomp, and it sticks with you. Like, honestly, I think it's the most memorable song on the entire album. And despite it being, what, like 7.5 minutes or something
like that.
It doesn't feel labored.
No.
That one doesn't feel labored at all.
It doesn't drag as much as, say, like the opening track does. It's got a good feel to it, a good song structure to it, like, yeah.
Yeah, I really, really dug that one, and it kind of moves through this whole midsection that is very mid-tempo. But honestly, I think there's some of the best songs on here. Like that was my favorite stretch of songs. The title track and then Outman, all of them have this more mid-tempo, almost kind of sludge and doom thrown in there.
Now, while they're long songs, you don't get a lot to work with as far as moving through the record. There's only 6 of them.
Yeah.
So
it's not necessarily the longest release, but this midsection, I think, is where they were playing at their strengths the most. The riffs on these particular songs, I thought, were very memorable, and it showed the wide swath that they kind of carved in their career, like all the different things they like to incorporate.
Yeah, I guess it kind of would have been like a travel through history as far as the band is concerned, because I think they incorporated all the styles that you would see in some of their other records, just kind of smushed them into one, like, hey, we're still Darkthrone, here's what we have, but they definitely pushed forward a more kind of stoner, sludgy feel, I think, for the whole album.
Yeah, and they're at this point in their career, they've been around for so fucking long, they can do whatever the fuck they want. And I think they generally do.
And I think as a band, why not experiment if you can?
Yeah.
What's the point of writing the same shit over and over and over again?
Yeah, you're gonna get tired of it.
Yep.
I like the production on this. I thought was really good. It's very organic. It's still gritty. I like it better than the production on the last album, honestly, Arctic Thunder. This feels actually like this is, taboo word for black metal, kind of accessible. Like, I think you could actually get people that generally wouldn't listen to a band named Darkthrone alone.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, I still, to this day, am not the world's biggest black metal fan, but I mean, I'm opening my brain a little bit more, not only doing this channel, but going to the Death Fest and kind of putting myself out there. So I'm starting.
It's a lot to absorb.
And this is really cool. This is a good kick into that.
Yeah, it's very riffy, and that's also like I guess you could say that's a strength and a weakness, because it gets so riffy that some of these songs start blending into one another. Like,
Yes.
after Outman, Duke of Gloat comes in swinging, much like, you know, their old selves.
Yeah,
but
it has like a punk feel to it in the beginning, which is cool, but then it just kind of...
Yeah, it kind of moves back into the riffing, but it's not nearly as dynamic as those previous 3 songs.
Right.
And, you know, you just kind of get lost in an album with 6 songs shouldn't have any filler. I mean, granted, the song lengths are longer, but I still think there really shouldn't be any filler on this.
Yeah, for a 6-song album, like, in my opinion, if you're going to put out that short of an album, even, you know, with lengthier songs, if you're going to put out that short of an album, it should kick all the way through.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be a time when we sit down with a 6-song album and go, well, there were some iffy moments. Like, you shouldn't do that. You should go balls out if you're going to release a 6-song album.
Yeah. Now, like, the transitions between these, like, classic heavy metal moments and the punkier moments, the black metal moments, they generally work pretty well.
Yeah, they were cohesive as far as the change in styles and what they were trying to do. Like, it wasn't like, you know, they started playing a riff and then they just immediately jumped to another one and you were like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, there were a couple of moments where I thought they were a little jarring. The last track, Key Into the Wall, I thought they moved from that Death March intro, which was really good.
Right. I love the riffs in the Key Inside the Wall. Just heavy as shit.
And then it moved into like kind of a punky territory, and then back to that. It was like, all right, that's a little knee-jerk, but I really like that Death March part. Like, dude, that's heavy. Like, just beating on the tom drums, reinforcing that chunky riff.
It was pretty neat. It was a fun listen.
And that closing riff was monstrous.
Yes. Huge.
But, you know, all in all, it does have its flaws, but it has its merits. So this one's kind of falling in between for me.
Right.
It feels like kind of a worship and tribute sort of thing. 100% Darkthrone on this album. 100%. But there's a lot of other stuff where it feels like almost like, you know, kind of almost nods to other bands. Like, some of these riffs feel like they were written by these bands they're you know, worshiping here.
Which is cool.
It's cool and all, but it, like, I don't know, it feels almost kind of coverish. And that kind of bothered me a little bit. But all in all, I did dig this album. You know, I think it's a solid listen. It's an interesting mark in their back catalog in terms of interesting changes in their sound. So all in all, I gave it 3.5 stars.
All in all, I gave it 3 stars. Again, not a bad listen. You know, for me, I felt it was kind of a little bit lackluster at times, which, you know, I wasn't real sure what I was getting into. Neither of us were at this point in the game.
I've been listening to Darkthrone for years, and I know...
It wasn't a bad jam.
You don't know what you're going to expect.
I don't know if I would jam... Let's put it this way. I'm going to jam it again, but I probably won't jam all the songs. I'll probably take the couple songs that I really like Hardship of the Scots and Key Inside the Wall, and I'd jam those again. You know, does it get a really high rating? No, but it doesn't get a really low rating. I'm right in the middle here. I'm at a 3.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's a good listen, and of course, this is just our opinion. We recommend you jam it anyway.
For sure.
You know, it's more metal to feed your fucking brain. And definitely feed it.
Which we definitely like to do.
Yes, we like metal. But yeah, that's our thoughts on this album. What are yours? If you are new to the channel, definitely subscribe. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And we'll be back with more reviews. Promise. Catch you later.